What is up, everybody? It's Camel Gaming back here. This is going to be part 6. We're almost done with basically all of the classes and really all of the specs. This is part 6, Sith Warrior Marauder. All of these trees will be discussing how to maximize your time, but by getting a PvP build, but also by getting a leveling build. The Sith Warrior Marauder class basically uses this rage mechanic, so you would start with 0 every time you hit. Every time you do one of your basic abilities, you gain rage, and which allows you to unload your rage once you have rage available to use. The Sith Warrior Marauder would use 2 lightsabers, so basically you would have 2 melee weapons that you'll be able to use, 2 sabers, and you actually have 2 different trees that you can pick out of. You can either maximize that Annihilation, which is the 31 point, or you can maximize Incarnage, which is another DPS tree. In this case, I chose Annihilation. I thought this may be better, however, this is definitely very open to debate. You can pretty much use either one. But if you're going to go with an Annihilation tree, I suggest going with this build. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we're going to skip Cloak of Annihilation. Each use of Retaliation reduces the active cooldown of Cloak of Pain by 3 seconds. This is more of a defensive ability. You only would use Retaliation also if you take damage, or not if you take damage, if you take a hit, but you basically defend that hit, so you basically avoid that damage. Then it opens up a ability that you can use basically to, it's kind of like revenge in Warcraft for a warrior. So that's what it is used for. So retaliation is not always up, it's only up if you're able to defend or block something. You have quick recovery. We're going to go with this. Reduces the rage cost of smash and sweeping slash by 2, and reduces the cooldown of smash by 3 seconds. Smash is going to be one of the abilities that you'll be using most often, so this will definitely be part of the DPS rotation. What Smash does is just smashes up to 5 enemies within 5 meters, dealing X kinetic damage, and also stuns enemies. We're going to go with Enrage Slash, Vicious Throw, Massacre, and Annihilate. Have an X% chance to refund 1 rage when used. Definitely want that. We're going to skip Hungering. Critical hits with bleed effects heal you for 1% of your maximum health. I mean, this is relatively good, but you're able to take some DPS abilities if you skip this for now. Even though it is pretty good, but we're going to skip this. We are going to get Seeping Wound. Rupture has an X% chance to also reduce the target's movement speed by 30% for the duration. Very useful in cases of, if your enemy is trying to kite from you, or if you're maybe one of the mobs or one of the NPCs that are attacking tries to run away, you definitely want that. You're going to get Geo Mastery. Your bleed effects are 3% more likely to critical hit per stack of Geo form. Going with the Annihilation tree, you're going to basically be in this Geo stance. There are a couple of different stances you can be choosing from. I believe Geo's one of them. You have Shicho form and you have Ataru form. Shicho form is basically the tank spec, so you don't have to worry about that. Ataru form is more of a, it's also a DPS spec, but it just increases your movement speed. I feel like you're more swift and you're quicker with the Ataru form. However, if you're going to be going into an Annihilation tree, you definitely want to stick with the Geo form the entire time. So you're going to have Bleed Out, increase critical strike damage over bleed effects by 30%. You're going to get Deadly Saber, charges your lightsaber with deadly energy for 15 seconds, causing your next 3 successful melee attacks to make the target bleed for X internal damage. And this is stackable. And we're going to get Blurred Speed. Lowers the cooldown of Force Charge by 3 seconds. Force Charge is basically kind of like your Warrior Intercept. So you basically just lunge into the opponent, the enemy, and I believe you stun them on initial contact. As you can notice so far, the Annihilation tree, most of them are bleed effects. So it's not like huge burst damage like other classes. These are all mostly damage over time spells, so they're mostly dots. So just keep that in notice that you're not going to be blowing stuff up. However, with all the dots and with all the bleeds effects, you should be able to do a lot of damage over time. You're going to have Close Quarters, reduce the minimum range of Force Charge by 10 meters. So continue on, you're going to get Deep Wound, increases the direct damage dealt by Rupture by 30%. What Rupture does is, it's another, I believe it's another dot ability, looking it up here. Basically, it stabs the target for X damage and deals an additional Y internal damage over 1 second, requires 2 lightsabers. So once again, another dot ability, another damage over time ability. We're going to skip Subjugation, reduces the cooldown of Obfuscate by 7.5 seconds and Disruption by 1 second. Yeah, I mean, this would be more useful for late game PvP, but for now it's not very useful since you're not going to be interrupting all that much against like mobs. You're going to get short fuse, increase the amount of fury built by 2 when activating abilities that spend rage, and reduces the cooldown of frenzy by 30 seconds. Frenzy, I think, let me see here, just double checking. Frenzy, what Frenzy does, it enters Fierce Frenzy, immediately building 30 stacks of Fury. So it's just like a rage builder, an instant rage boost if you use your Frenzy ability. So you have Ferocity, further increase your movement speed while Predation is active. You're going to have Pulverize. Pulverize Vicious Slash has an X% chance, and Annihilate has a Y% chance to finish the cooldown Rupture. This basically keeps your bleed ability on. You're going to skip Phantom. You're going to go with Hemorrhage, increases the damage dealt by your bleed effects. Another one is about bleed effects, and then you have Annihilate, which is one of your strongest ones. Strikes the target with both lightsabers for X weapon damage. Each use of this ability grants Annihilator for 15 seconds, lowering the cooldown of your next Annihilator by 1.5. So it's pretty interesting. So you use this. Unfortunately, there's a cooldown on it, but once the cooldown is up, you use it again, and you basically use this as much as possible. Each time you're using it, it would lower the cooldown for the next one. So basically, about every 10.5 seconds, you're able to continue to use Annihilate as part of your DPS rotation. And I'm assuming this is going to be your strongest attack. Finally, we're going to finish up. So that basically leads us to level 40. Once at level 40, we're going to put in 10 additional points into Carnage. Rage is more for tank stuff. Not for tank stuff, more for like force abilities. So we're not going to care about that. So we're going to put the rest into Carnage. Here, this is definitely very useful. Dual Wield Mastery increases the damage dealt with offhand lightsaber attacks by 36%. Definitely need that. Defensive form, we're going to have this as well because this will be better than your Cloak of Carnage. Using this allows your Geo form to reduce damage taken. And this is a passive ability, so you definitely want this because you don't have to activate anything at all. You're going to have Enraged Charge because you're going to always force charge to initiate battle. That's how you should always start battle, because not only do you do damage, once you charge in, you also stun the enemy. And finally, we're going to have Narrowed Hatred. Increase melee and force accuracy by 3%, so that way you miss less in combat. Alright, so this is a Sith Warrior Marauder, guys. Tell me what you guys think. I think the Annihilation Tree is probably going to be better, but Carnage may be good as well. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other ones, give me some critiques, give me some feedback over what you think the best, what class you'll play, but also what the best spec is. Alright, peace out.